On Monday, Twitter CEO Elon Musk attempted to shame Apple into giving his company more money. Oh, by the way, his failing company, Twitter. Musk sent out a tweet on Monday afternoon accusing tech company Apple of being against freedom of speech for not buying ads on Twitter. So here's the tweet. Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America? Yes, that's right. Are you losing advertisers? Have you tried insulting them? That'll bring them back. That's a great idea, Mr. Musk. Yeah, of course, of course. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Come on, dude. Really? Well, now, look, I'm going to state the obvious, and I shouldn't have to, but if there are any, Musk stands that are watching, well, then I'm going to actually talk about what the First Amendment really means and what it doesn't. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution does not compel private entities, such as Apple, to subsidize other people's speech through advertising. I mean, it wouldn't be free speech if it was subsidized, would it? Okay. No, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, guarantees that the government cannot arrest or criminally charge you for the act of nonviolent speech. That's what free speech is. And I get tired of having this conversation all the time. When people say, free speech, free speech, free speech. We want free speech on Twitter. You don't have free speech on Twitter. It is a private institution. In fact, right now, if you're on the left, you're getting shadow banned, most likely. And I'll explain what that is later on. But free speech has never existed on Twitter. It still doesn't under Elon Musk. And it never will. That's just not what free speech is. But okay, anyway. That said, you're not entitled for people to do business with you. Simple as that. Okay? Ironically, to force Apple to run ads on Twitter, which I'm not saying that's what he wants to do, but it seems like this is where the argument's going. Well, that would be government overreach, wouldn't it? And maybe even a violation of Apple's free speech. Because, like I said, in this country, the courts have decided that corporations are human beings and that speech, well, that money is speech. Money is considered speech now. And you can think, of course, Citizens United. You think all the other decisions that have ensured that, yes, money is considered speech, corporations are people. As Mitt Romney said, corporations are people, my friend. So under those rules, can you say that Apple has decided to use their own free speech to tell Musk to F off? Unless, of course, they do content moderation, which is what they're looking for. And again, even if we had a normal country, you still shouldn't be able to force companies under the First Amendment to buy ad space on your platform. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea. And again, I don't know, they don't understand what free speech is. And I know force is not the correct word. I get it. But he really is out there trying to insult and shame a company into doing business with him. And it's ridiculous. Why? Why is that? But it does show you what kind of businessman Elon Musk is. He's essentially a bully. According to an internal 2018 Tesla worker survey of employees at the time, they talked about what it's like to work under this guy, and apparently it's not great. At least when dealing with Elon Musk himself. In fact, here's one worker, what they said in the survey: Tesla is hemorrhaging highly talented, ferociously driven people who truly believe in the company's vision and continue to hope for its success. Elon is a technical leader of the highest order, and yet is widely seen as an unapproachable tyrant who devalues the contributions of the staff and may fire them on a whim, which he's shown by firing people from Twitter via tweet. And I thought only Trump did that. Nope. Turns out Elon Musk, same thing. Very publicly. And this also person says, we treat people, the fundamental unit of the country, like any other expendable resource. I had a friend who worked for Tesla and can also back that up, that it was a toxic workplace. Another worker said that Musk's ego needed to change, while another said that people were being bullied by Elon into making unrealistic commitments. So it shows you who he is. Elon Musk is a man-child who was used to having his way and bullying people into doing what he wants. What do you think he's doing now? Trying to do it to Apple, which, again, I got news for you, Elon. You need Apple a lot more than Apple needs you. Just saying. And again, not really in favor of, all the tech monopolies and how much power Apple has, or Google, or, a lot of these other Silicon Valley giants. At this point, Apple has a lot of power here, and Elon Musk is going around making demands. He's writing checks that his ass cannot cash. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you a smart businessman, or are you a dumbass? Well, I think we know the answer to that question. Look, Apple is the world's most valuable company. They spend an estimated $131,600 on Twitter ads between November 10th and November 16th. That's $131,600 for 6 days of ads. That's how much money they spend in the platform. And that, by the way, that is why that is after they pulled advertising. Normally they spend $220,800 they spent between October 16th and October 22nd. That is the week before Musk closed the Twitter deal. According to ad measurement firm Pathmatics, that is a lot of money spent in a very small amount of time. And it adds up. It adds up a lot. In fact, ads are 90% of Twitter's revenue. You're not going to make that up from Twitter Blue or Yellow or Green or whatever he's coming out with next. That is going to pull back. And by the way, earlier this month, Musk claimed that Twitter had seen a massive drop in revenue, which, again, is true because a lot of these companies were like, we don't know what's going to happen with this platform. I think we're going to pause our ads and see. And there's a good reason for that, by the way. But when that happened, Musk blamed activist groups for pressuring advertisers. Of course, yeah, right. It's just those pesky activist groups and not at all capitalism that is causing these companies to pull their ads. And look, what it's about is Musk not doing content moderation. It's because Musk allowed literal white supremacists back in on the platform. I mean, think about it. If you're working for Kellogg's, if you're an ad person, who does ad buys on different platforms, right? Well, you want to get your ad seen, obviously. So you can sell stuff, you can make more money. It's capitalism 101. Okay. But if you're working for Kellogg's and you're doing the ad department, you're buying ad space for, your cereal, right? But you don't want your ad sandwiched between a tweet from Hitler Boy 1488 talking about how the Jews control the media and a retweet of Thug Killer 69 posting the N-word ad nauseum in all caps. You really don't want to have your Kellogg's ad in between that, do you? No, of course not. That'd be stupid. But guess what? That's what happens when you don't have any content moderation on these platforms. Anything goes. And it turns out companies don't like that. That's why nobody wants to advertise on Gab. Understand that these are corporations that make the decision not to advertise in these platforms that let terrible people onto the platforms and to say whatever they want. There has to be some basic rules here. No hate, hate. No calling people to violence. No ethnic slurs, no transphobia or anything like that. That's just basic rules. Or to put it more simply, don't say something online to someone that you wouldn't tell them to their face. Just saying. For fear of getting your lights punched out. I think people have forgotten that, you know? Yes, don't say something online that's going to get you punched out in the real world. It's really simple. Be a little bit, respectful and not a shitlord. But understand who these people are. Elon Musk is a shitlord. And he thinks he can get away with anything because he has gotten away with anything because he is rich. These are corporations, though, that are making the decisions to not advertise not because they're going woke, right? No, it's because they don't want to go broke because their ads are being seen next to people who are saying the most messed up stuff imaginable. That's it. And again, going back to how he's going to make up the shortfall, if all these advertisers continue to leave, continue to bail on the platform, again, he's not going to make it back from Twitter Blue or Gold. The vast majority of users are not going to pay for a check mark. I'm not going to pay for a check mark. It's stupid. Why? What value and utility do you get out of that? And by the way, the only people that had check marks before Elon Musk were either celebrities, politicians, or journalists. Now, what's interesting is the far right hated the fact that journalists could get verified because in general, they seem to hate journalism. They seem to hate facts. Elon Musk didn't like being picked on, didn't like being made fun of, so his feelings got hurt, and further moved himself into a right-wing echo chamber and started believing everything that they told him that the right was saying about Twitter. Oh, did you know that they're shadow banning? They're silencing conservative voices. They're run by a bunch of pink-haired SJWs. Yeah, they don't even work really at Twitter. Really, they don't. How come they're getting paid? What's funny though is that the very thing that the right complained that the supposed SJWs at Twitter were doing before Musk took over, they're doing now. Musk has actually enacted shadow banning. On November 18th, Musk announced that Twitter's new policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. He said negative hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, so no ads or other revenue to Twitter. So again, he doesn't understand how his own company works, which is hilarious because individual tweets do not get ads. So I don't really know what he's referring to, but there are other questions. Like, for example, what's considered to be a negative tweet? I've seen plenty of tweets that would be considered very negative that continue to be allowed. Transphobic tweets, hate tweets, all these things. Very, very negative stuff. No consequences. But if you criticize Elon Musk, well, I mean, I can see how he takes that as a negative tweet. Which gets to the question of who, decides what is or is not a negative tweet and what should be deboosted or shadow banned. Well, it would be Elon Musk because he's fired pretty much everyone else. Or who or what algorithm would monitor for these negative tweets to deboost them, and how would they do so? And if he ends up hiring more people, which maybe he will, who knows, right? Will there be an official shadow ban council to decide to make these decisions? We don't know. I don't know. I don't think he knows. This is another reason that companies like Apple are pretty much getting close to being done with Twitter. I'm not going to say that Twitter is going to be dead, but it's losing a lot of its appeal, a lot of people, and what it's going to end up with is mostly getting turned into another Gab. Great for, if you're a white nationalist white supremacist or generally horrible person. But if you're an advertiser, that's not a good place for you to be. And if you're a regular person who wants to stay clear of the Nazis, you're not going to be in favor of it either. And so it's going to lose a lot of its user base. And who knows? Maybe that's the point.